Hello everybody and welcome to a new kind of video I'm going to be doing on this channel, and that is a tutorial series. I know flying from A to B is fun and all, but it gets a bit dull, and this channel needs to kind of broaden out and do something more than flying pretty much the same plane every time to a different location around the world. So this is basically how to fly those planes that I fly. So I know the title of my channel is Clueless Captain, but this will be fairly serious. You know, there'll be some phases that you can probably get away with not doing, but I'm going to do them. Just for the sake of the haters not having a massive temper tantrum in the comments like they always do, that I've, you know, not turned on the MD CDI VU to the on position or whatever, and you don't really need to do that because the plane gets off the ground and everybody's happy, the passengers are happy, they get to kiss and hug their girlfriends and families. So that's brilliant. But this will be done fairly properly. So there's some phases which you can be like, nah, I'm not going to do that. For example, the preliminary checks, I believe they're called. No, pre-flight checklist. You can get away with not doing this because the plane is loaded in and it's pretty much got all these things done. But for the sake of being nice to all the professional flight simmers and nerds out there, I will do it anyway. So first thing you want to do on the pre-flight checklist is verify that, my god, he's got some disability, but hey. But first thing you want to do is verify that the parking brake is on. And to do that, all you need to do is ensure that it's pointing to the right or to your first officer, and then the parking brake is on. Engines, you want to verify they're off by using your goddamn brain, and if you can't hear them, then they're off. The load sheet, you can get that, I think, parking brake, well, it is on, but hey, I'll click that just so it's green. I like the colour green. Load sheet you can get from here and hit load, but okay, fine, I'll do it for the sake of it. There's your load sheet, everybody's happy, get rid of it. Next thing you want to do is refueling. Refueling is very simple in this. You can click that, or as if you have the ground handling plugin by JAR Design, which costs like 12 quid, you can just click here and it's a nicer fuel truck. And you get all of these cool things like a luggage loader, and this thing, I don't know what it's doing, but it's doing something important. And that door is closing, and that's not supposed to happen. Forward. Open. Okay. So wait for the fuel truck to pop up, and then we will put the required fuel in. Now I will show you the required fuel on the flight plan on the right, if I can successfully edit that well, which I don't know if I can. Anyway, because I've tried to film this before with, you know, having some issues with the recording software, but if you had any more than that, or any less than that, for this particular flight, all you need to do is hit those increase and decrease buttons to make it 7, which is 7,000 kilograms of fuel, which is what you need for this flight. Okay, so that is done. Local QNH we can do, but in order to do that, you need to turn on the batteries. So 1 and 2. Now these are above 24, and I found that if the voltage is above 24, you will be fine. If it's less than that, you might have a few problems, but this will do. So as soon as you got them on, you go into here and you hit ground power, or you can use your APU power, but I don't have time for that, except I do, but I'm lazy in that way, and I've already got a GPU out. So you can click the GPU button, ground power, but I have you know, this plugin, so I just click here, and then exterior power comes on. So then you can set the local QNH, and to find the local QNH in the JAR design, all you go is to initialize today's flight plan, which is KPHX, which is Pheonix, and then we're going to go to KSFO, which is San Francisco, obviously. And then what you'll, actually that comes up later, so we'll do that later. You want to hit update here, and then you get all of your kind of important numbers and stuff, but the one I'm looking at here is the altimeter, which is, you know, the A, and then it's 2990 at the moment. So what you want to do is make sure this is inches of mercury, and 2990 is set, but if it wasn't, you just use your mouse wheel here and set. So 2990 is set. My god, he really doesn't have a life, this guy. He needs to evade whatever's blocking him, but hey, I can't fix that. That's X-Plane for you guys. Quality, realistic flight simulation. Yes, so that's basically the first few steps done. So local QNH, XA cars and stuff is active, I'm sure it is. Okay. Engine masters, check that they're off. And how do you know they're off? If these two little switches are pointing towards you, they are off. Engine mode selectors is normal. If it's pointing up, it is normal. Wipers are off, battery is auto, and what Airbus did is, if a light is off, it's automatically on, or in auto, and if a light is on, like, you know, on, obviously, it's off. So they did that so if something failed in the air, your eye would immediately be able to spot what had gone wrong, because it would be red or white, and that's why they did it. So if the light is off, it's in auto or on. So obviously the batteries are therefore on. Exterior power is on. Engine fire, let's check that. So to check it in this one, you hit here, and then you hit here, and then the next thing on the checklist I bet is the Apu Fire Test, and it is, and that's the same thing. Hit that one there. So that is jolly good. CVR, cockpit voice recorder, is on. ADIRS, we do that now. So 1, 2 and 3. You can do that in any order, but I saw a pilot do it that way, so that's the way I do it now. Okay, exterior lights as required. Now the exterior lights, pretty simple. Nav and logo basically tells people on the ground that there are people in the cockpit working, so you switch that on as soon as you're in the cockpit. My god, Siri is activating itself, and that's really irritating because I didn't say hey Siri, but hey. Yeah, so nav and logo just tells people on the ground you're in the cockpit and working. Everything else for the moment can stay off, because as soon as you are thinking of pushing back, you turn on the beacon. That tells people on the ground to get away, otherwise they'll be sucked into some massive engines. So you can put strobe to auto, because the strobe won't come on until you're off the ground. And for now, that's all you want to do with the lights. You can turn on seatbelt signs and non-smoking, no smoking, and that is pretty much done. Probe heat and window heat is auto. Yes, you can confirm that because the light is off. Okay, landing lever is an auto, it's down, so I'm presuming that's pretty much automatic. APU bleed as required, we're not going to turn that on until we want to push back. Air conditioning panel, let's make sure that is set. Now in here, what you want to do is turn that to up, and that up, so that you don't get people in the cabin saying it's too cold, and you don't get your first officer saying it's too hot. Oh god, that voice is so annoying. Pack flow as required. Pack flow is this panel here, so pack 1 and pack 2. You can't turn those on until the engines have started, so don't bother yet. So as required, as required in this stage of flight is off. Electric panel is checked, vent panel is checked, fuel pumps, we can turn those on. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Left pumps, centre pumps, and right pumps. Anything else? It's blaringly obvious that it needs to be done. Okay, that is all I'm going to do in terms of cockpit preparation for now. What I will do is turn on the radios, but now let's do some flight planning. So you can only align this IRS if you set these to nav. So do that pretty much the first thing you do when you get in the cockpit. Turn those to nav. And then you can click on Align IRS. So that's done. Cost index for this flight, I should have the flight plan up on the right here, is 5 for this flight, so that's pretty low. Cost index basically tells the engines and computers how much fuel it can burn, how fast it can cruise, you know, lots of mathsy things. So just follow what you're given on the flight plan. Cruising level today is 340, otherwise known as 34,000 feet. So flight level 340 is set. Flight number, what I always tend to use now, I give myself just a number that I remember, which is 771. There's another flight sim YouTuber who uses 717. You know, it's just a number that you can remember. So I use 771. Okay, next you want to go into this page, and the one next to it. So you see this, that means there's more than one page. So you hit this one or that one, and you just click here and here. And you know, maybe in a more sophisticated model of this plane, you'd have to do the maths and work out how much that is. But block fuel, you can always find out, is just here. So 7,000 kilograms. Otherwise, 7 is just put in 7. Your zero fuel weight should be calculated in your flight plan, which I'll have up on the right here. Yes, it's 5.8 or 5.6, and you know, that's the estimated, but maximum it would be 61,000. So zero fuel weight is fine, and now we want to go into the pref. So this will calculate your V1, VR and V2 speeds automatically in this plane. I'm not sure if it does that in real life. I don't think it does, because the Aerosoft one that you get in FSX, the Aerosoft model of this plane, is a little bit better, and you have to do the maths to work out V1, VR and V2. But in this plane, you just click, click and click, like that. And the trim is done in the same way, just click. So up 0.7, so flaps 2, up 0.7 on the trim. Now flex temperature is a little bit complicated. F40 is the lowest value you can put in here, and that is basically very little power for takeoff. F40 is the most power you can do for takeoff. F40 is basically toga, but F60, which is the maximum number you can put in, is pretty low power for takeoff. What flex does is it prolongs the life of an engine. It stops you from doing toga when you don't need to toga. So if you have a long runway, F60 is probably fine for you. If you have a really short runway, F40. But I just tend to use, especially at Pheonix with 2 massive long runways, it's just F55. Get me off the ground and safe. So that's the takeoff page done. So you don't need to worry about that. Flight plan, which is the fun bit. Phx Departure, and today's runway, as you can see on the flight plan, is 08, and the runway is shown after the slash on the second page in the routing page. So it's 08, and I don't think this plane has the SID we want, so we're just going to go for the closest one to it, which will be this one here. And we have the sissy transition. So insert that. You know the transition. It tends to be the point just after the departure. So as you can see on this flight plan on the right, if I manage to get it up, it just goes from Mesa 3 to sissy. So sissy is the transition you want. And then if you had an airway, what you do is you go in here and hit here, and then it would be something like F or M. M's a pretty common one, 362, and then you put that in there and then to the next point. But today it's direct, which is illustrated by DCT, which is the abbreviation for direct, with direct dubbing. So you just put that in, DOVEE, like that, and click. Then DIR, which is the abbreviation in this plane for it, not DCT, just means direct. And then from there it's direct again to BTY, which I think is an NDB. Where did that go? Did I screw that up? BTY? Where is it? Is it going to be in here? Okay, it is. That's fine, so we can just clear that and insert that. BTY, and then we're direct once again to Rusme. RUSME. Direct, so the DIR again. Insert, and then you want the arrival in San Francisco, which is on runway 28 right, once again illustrated after the slash 28 right, so you want to take the ILS or the VOR, whatever your airport has, for that runway, and then find the transition that you want. The star, it's not a transition on the way out. No, transition, never mind, just you want to find the star. And which this one is, oh that's Yosemite, we don't want that, we want this one here. Okay, and then you want to find, okay, we don't have an approach via that we can use immediately, but we do have a transition we can use. So just click that, because that is the point on your flight plan, hit flight plan, insert. So because you found that transition that's on your flight plan, you won't have any discontinuities, which is great, that just saves a few seconds. But if you did have a discontinuity, hit clear, and then just right next to where that says flight plan discontinuity, hit this, or wherever it is on your phone, and then it will go. And then it will go all yellow, and then you just put enter or insert flight plan, and then it'll be fine. So that's the flight planning stage done. Pretty simple, basically just reading, which most of you can do, presuming you are somewhat knowledgeable. Okay, so that's that done. So that's, yeah, that's all good. So what I tend to do, because I'm not on VATSIM, I just set the cruising altitude immediately to 340, but if you were on VATSIM, you'd be given a climb out altitude 2, and then you just set that in there, so you don't have any problems. And this has already got its altitude set in, so it's fine. And it'll go up in the correct pace. So yeah, now I want to start the APU, and I want to start to clear our ground services. Now you wouldn't normally have this problem because I've got an add-on that makes it look really real, but you want to just basically make sure that all the ground equipment is gone, your fuel truck, your GPU, and you want to ensure that all your doors are closed. So with this add-on, or as you might do it, you just go into ground, uncheck all of these. After your APU comes on, only after can you hit that, otherwise your cockpit will go dark. So what we want to do is get rid of the loader, and this one too. And I think I've got stairway. No I don't. And the fuel truck can go too, so take away the fuel. Doors, this one and that one, they can go. And if the APU is now on, which it is, you can take away exterior power. So hit the minus on.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is your chief flight attendant.
Okay. So now what I do is I pre-plan my pushback with Better Pushback, which is a free add-on you can just download. Just Google Better Pushback for X-Plane, it'll pop up, show you how to install it. It's really simple and it's really good.
Ground cockpit, please show me where you want to go.
Okay, I'll show them where I want to go, which is just about here, and then bring me forward a bit, just to there, and then you hit enter.
Ground cockpit, tow is driving up.
Okay, the trail will drive up now. I will ensure that all of my my ground handling is gone, so hide all, so it's all gone, and then you wait for your tow to drive up. He'll tell you to take your parking brake off. You will do that, and then you'll be off. So then I'll show you how to start the engines, and then that'll be the end of this first tutorial for the A320-251 or whatever it's called with the NEO engine. Someone can tell me that in the comments. It's probably 251. Okay, let's zoom down here. Another quick tip, because I get one on every video, is how do you set views? It's really simple. You hit left control and the number on your number pad that you want to assign that view to. And that's that. I have 1 as the pilot seat, 3 as the first officers, 2 as like an external view, 0 is the pedestal, 8 is the overhead panel, 7 is the engine, 9 is the right engine, 4 is a wing, 6 is the other wing of course, and 5, what do I have set for 5? 5 is the MCDU, or in a Boeing FMS. So that is that. Now engine start, really simple, but first you want to turn on your beacon.
So connected and bypass in service. Release parking brake.
No, you won't. Don't turn that on yet. But take off your parking brake when it tells you to, and you'll be off.
Okay, all doors and hatches are closed. Starting pushback, and you may start engines.
Okay, to start engines, really simple. All you do is flip that switch to ignition. What is he doing? He's taking a very weird route here, but hey. It's a simulator and not the real thing. So flip that switch to ignition. Engine number 2.
Starting engine 2.
And because you need to have the APU bleed on at this phase, otherwise there won't be air bleeding into the engine, so the engines won't start. So you need to have the APU on, and especially the APU bleed. And ensure that you have the fuel pumps on, otherwise you'll be very angry at yourself when you turn off the APU and find that all of your instruments go dark. Okay, so that is one of the Pratt & Whitney 1000G engines, or whatever they're called, started. You can hear the dog bark there, which is the hydraulic pump. And then you want to turn
starting engine 1.
Okay, that's 2 engines ignited and confirmed. So we can turn on these packs now. Take off the APU. No longer required. 2 good engines. Yeah, maybe I'll turn that off a bit soon, but hey. Now what you want to do is follow your ECAM, which tells you auto brake max, spoilers to armed,
Spoilers armed.
and flaps to takeoff config, which you can find in here, your pref. Flaps 2 is what we've been asked for today. So 1,
Flaps 1.
2.
Flaps 2.
And then, of course, before you taxi, you want to do your kind of flight control checks, which is full right, full left, full up, which I can do here, full down, and then your left rudder, and your right rudder, and then you go. Why is he going back still? I don't know. You can stop now. Plug in. Oh, he'll stop, I bet. Well, you better stop. Okay, stop. Nice on the taxi line there.
Operation complete. Set parking brake.
Set parking brake.
Park brake on.
Turn ignition to normal.
Disconnecting tow. Stand by.
Turn on these overheads and console lights. Floodlights are these ones here. And then you've got your integrity lights, which are here. And then, what you want to do if you're on VATSIM is say you're ready to taxi. They'd give you taxi instructions, make sure you have a notepad, write them down, have a map ready so you follow them out, pretty simple. But for now, if you're just flying on your own, wait for him to leave you. Take off the parking brake by clicking here. And then you'll be good to go. So thank you for watching this first tutorial video on how to fly the A320 properly, and I'll see you maybe in a Boeing next time, who knows. Thank you for watching.
Tow is disconnected and bypass pin has been removed. Have a nice flight.